Have you ever found yourself overwhelmed with anxiety at the thought of losing someone? Someone you love, a job you've been committed to, a position you've worked so hard to achieve. Have you ever feared losing your money, your reputation, your recognition, or even just a fragile relationship? And the more you fear losing it, the more anxious you become. The tighter you hold on, the more it seems to slip away from your hands. We try to control, cling, worry day after day. Yet the result is exhaustion, cracks in our connection, and sometimes the loss of ourselves. There's a strange paradox in life. The more we fear losing something, the more likely it is to fall apart. Because fear doesn't strengthen bonds, it suffocates them. Love doesn't grow under control. Trust can't exist in the presence of fear. And happiness doesn't flourish in a mindset of lack. We don't lose because something is missing. We lose because we're afraid of losing. So why is it that the more we fear loss, the less we're able to hold on to anything? How do we let go of the mindset of possession? How do we shift from clinging to releasing without losing the respect, love, and meaning that matter most in life? Let's explore this deeply human experience together in today's reflection with ancient philosophy, a journey to heal the fear of loss and to rediscover the freedom that begins inside us. A journey that starts with one question: what are you holding on to so tightly that it's making you suffer every day? Welcome to Ancient Philosophy, where we walk the path of self-understanding, compassion, and wisdom through the timeless lens of Eastern philosophy. Here you'll discover the teachings of Confucius, Lao Tzu, Zhuangzi, and the ancient sages, not to memorize, but to reflect and apply to the challenges of modern life. How do we find peace in a chaotic world? How do we stay mindful and awake in a world that constantly pulls us away? If you're someone who longs to live with more depth, more clarity, and more peace each day, then this channel is for you. Don't forget to subscribe, hit like if this video resonates with you, share your thoughts in the comments, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new video on the wisdom of the ancients. Chapter 1. The Fear of Loss, the Root of Anxiety. There's a strange paradox in life. The more we fear losing something, the more likely we are to lose it. Like holding a fistful of sand, the tighter we clench our hand, the faster it slips through our fingers. The more anxious the heart becomes, the shakier the hands grow, and everything we try so hard to hold on to slips further away. In daily life, the fear of loss shows up everywhere in many forms. Some fear losing love, so they begin controlling their partner's every move. Some fear losing their status, so they compete, calculate, and exhaust themselves keeping up a perfect image. Some fear losing money, so they cling to everything tightly, living in constant worry and defensiveness. But there's one thing most people don't realize. The fear of loss doesn't come from the outside world. It comes from inner emptiness. When we feel incomplete inside, we begin to fear losing what's outside. We believe that if we lose that person, that job, that recognition, we lose our worth. And that belief leads us to live with the mindset of clinging to keep. But the tighter we cling, the more exhausted we become, and eventually, the more we lose. A story. Two people in love lost because of fear. There was once a man who loved his girlfriend deeply, but instead of loving with peace in his heart, he lived in constant anxiety. He feared that one day she might leave him. He feared someone better might take her away. So from that fear, he began checking her phone daily, asking where she went, with whom, and what she was doing. Whenever she laughed with friends, he grew suspicious. Whenever she asked for space, he believed she didn't love him anymore. Eventually, the girl, though still in love, could no longer stay. Not because she stopped loving him, but because she felt suffocated, exhausted. He loved her, but his love brought her pain. He feared losing her, but it was that very fear that made him lose her. This isn't the rare story. In work, too, some fear losing opportunities, so they compete harshly, undermine others, and push people down to climb higher. But one day, that jealousy isolates them, and they're removed from the game. In reputation, the same pattern shows up. People fear tarnishing their image, so they strive to appear perfect, never make mistakes, never show vulnerability. But in the process, they lose touch with their true selves. The lesson? What we hold too tightly will eventually slip away. Affection breaks under pressure. Happiness drifts away when clung to. Fame, status, they are like clouds. You can't hold on to them with your hands. The ancient sages said, forcing something goes against nature. What is truly meant for you, even if it drifts far away, will return. What is not meant for you, no matter how tightly you hold on, will never stay. Take a moment to reflect on the things you've lost in life. Was it because you feared too much, controlled too much, held on too tightly? And if you look calmly, you might realize loss is not the end. Sometimes it's life's gentle reminder for us to learn how to let go. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. It means allowing things to follow their natural flow. Letting go to find ease in the heart. Letting go so your spirit is no longer tied down. Letting go so that what truly belongs to you can return, freely and willingly. The tighter you clench, the more it hurts. The more you cling, the more tired your heart becomes. The more you fear losing, the less you're able to keep anything. Learn to cherish without attachment, love without control, protect without clenching. Because only in release can anything stay, naturally, freely, and for the long term. Chapter 2: The Root of Fear. Identification with the ego. Have you ever asked yourself, why do I fear losing something? Is it because that thing is truly valuable, or because you truly need it? Not always. One person may break down crying over losing an old phone, while another remains calm after losing a multi-million-dollar contract. Our emotions don't just respond to objects. They respond to the meaning we project onto those objects. We're not simply afraid of losing a thing. We're afraid of losing the part of ourselves we've attached to that thing. Ego identification, the hidden root of fear. When someone becomes overly attached to a car, it's no longer just a vehicle. It becomes a symbol of their status. When someone falls deeply in love, their partner is no longer just a companion. They become a reflection of that person's worth. When someone achieves a high-ranking position, they don't just carry responsibility. They feel like their entire self becomes more valuable because of the title. That's when we begin to identify ourselves with external things. When the car gets scratched, we feel insulted. When love begins to break down, we feel betrayed, not just emotionally, but personally. When we lose a position, it feels like we've lost who we are. But in truth, we are still ourselves. Yet the false self has grown so large, it blinds us from reality. We no longer see ourselves as living, evolving human beings. We only see ourselves through the lens of our roles, possessions, and relationships. So when those things naturally change, as all things do in life, we suffer, we resist, we fear loss. A story. the old watch, and an unspoken grief. There was once a wealthy businessman who had everything: money, property, status. One day, he lost an old watch. It wasn't worth much, at least materially, but it was the first thing he ever bought with his own money, back when he was a young man hustling in a chaotic street market. When the watch went missing, he sat in silence for hours, staring into space. His family was puzzled. He had once lost millions in a failed investment and stayed calm. But this old watch made him visibly shaken. Because he didn't just lose a watch, he lost a part of himself that had been attached to it. The memory of his beginnings, the symbol of his struggles, the version of him that had once fought through hardship to rise. The pain wasn't in the present. It lived in the deep attachment to the past. The loss wasn't of the object, but of the soul he had poured into it. The lesson: let go of the ego to let go of fear. The fear of loss is the natural result of clinging to a self-image. When I is tied to status, losing status means I no longer exist. When I is defined by a partner, breaking up means I lose all worth. When I is measured by money, losing money equals I am a failure. The ancient sages said, "What we claim to possess only belongs to us because we assign it that meaning." The original is, "But all things in life are impermanent. People come and go. Things appear, then decay. Fame rises, then fades. If I depends on those things, then isn't the I always insecure and fragile?" To stop fearing loss, we must let go of the ego that wants to possess. Learn to cherish without clinging. Live with the mindset of having is good, but losing is okay too. When we no longer define ourselves by external things, we finally realize nothing truly belongs to us except our own heart. When we no longer identify ourselves with what's outside, loss becomes change, not destruction. This disconnection between self and possession brings true inner freedom. When we cling to self-image, we live inside an invisible prison. But when we let go, we become light like a cloud, with nothing left to lose. Chapter 3. Let go of fear to hold on differently. Humans often believe that we must hold on tightly to keep something. To preserve love, we must bind it. To keep wealth, we must cling to it. To protect loved ones, we must fear losing them. But the tighter we grip, the more fragile the bonds becomes, whether with people or with life itself. Because holding on is not about clenching, it's about cherishing with freedom. To hold is to inspire someone to stay, not to make them afraid to leave. There are hands that love each other, yet the tighter they hold, the more they slip apart. There are beautiful hearts that suffocate others simply by holding on too tightly. Love, family, or anything precious all need space to breathe, not a cage to be locked inside. To hold on is not to control. It's to understand and to let go at the right moment. We often think, if I don't guard it, cling to it, worry about it, it will disappear. But in truth, what's meant to stay will stay. And what's meant to go, the more you grip it, the more it hurts. What truly belongs to us doesn't need to be fought for. What's only meant to pass through will eventually leave. And we must learn how to say goodbye gently. A story. Zhangzi drums and sings when his wife dies. There is a well-known tale in ancient Chinese philosophy. When Zhangzi, a great Taoist thinker, lost his wife, he didn't cry or grieve in the way most people would expect. Instead, he sat outside his home, calmly drumming and singing. His close friend Heezi came to visit, shocked and upset. "You lived with your wife for years, shared deep love and memories. Now she's gone, and not only do you not mourn her, you're actually singing. Isn't that heartless?" Zhangzi smiled and replied, "When my wife first passed, I too felt grief. But after sitting quietly with my thoughts, I realized we come from nothing, live for a time and return to nothing. This is the way of heaven and earth. My wife has returned to nature, just like a leaf falling back to its roots. Why should I cry or resent it? Why not celebrate the soul that has completed its journey?" Letting go is understanding, not indifference. Zhangzi didn't stop loving his wife. In fact, his love transcended attachment, transcended the self-centered pain of loss. He didn't cling to someone who had already departed because he understood this is the rhythm of the universe. When we truly understand, we no longer panic in the face of letting go. Because to let go isn't to lose. It's to return things to where they belong. What comes? Cherish it. What leaves? Smile and release it. Don't seek to possess. Learn to walk beside. The lesson. The more you let go, the more things will stay. The more you give, the more you'll live on in others' hearts. What you hold with your hands will one day slip through your fingers, but what you hold in your heart will stay with you for life. Letting go doesn't mean giving up. Letting go is a higher wisdom, the courage to allow everything to move as it naturally should. No forcing, no controlling, no fear. Because the more we fear losing, the more we lose. But the more gently we let go, the more we hold on. In a different way. In someone's heart. In our character. And in the space called freedom. Chapter 4. How to overcome the fear of loss. We've all experienced the fear of losing something. A relationship, a job, an opportunity, or even the image of ourselves in the eyes of others. Fear of loss is a natural human emotion, but if we don't learn to master it, that fear becomes a chain, dragging us into anxiety, control, and suffering. So how do we overcome that fear? How do we live lightly without being shallow? How do we love without becoming attached? Here are 3 profound practices to help you not only understand, but transform the fear of loss. Number 1, ask yourself, if I lose this, will I still be me? Many people fear loss not because of what the thing actually is, but because they've identified with it for too long. A mother may fear losing her child because she believes, without my child, my life has no meaning. An entrepreneur fears losing their company, thinking, if I lose my business, I'll be nobody. A lover fears being left behind, believing, if I don't have them, I won't survive. All of this comes from attaching your identity to something external. So when that thing is gone, it's not just a loss. It feels like a loss of self. That's why you must stop and ask yourself, if this were gone, would I still be me? Am I depending on something outside of me to feel valuable? These may seem simple questions, but if you reflect deeply, you'll realize no person, no thing defines who you are. Everything in life is a role, a chapter, a temporary identity. You can play the part of a lover, a parent, a boss, a friend, but who you are is not limited to those roles. When you detach yourself from your attachments, you feel lighter. You can still love, connect, and enjoy life, but without the fear of losing it all. Number 2, contemplate impermanence. Nothing lasts forever. The ancients said, "The world is impermanent. Life and death are limited. All things change like shadows passing through a window." Everything you have, health, loved ones, money, status, is temporary. Nothing lasts forever. When you resist impermanence, you suffer. When you flow with impermanence, you find peace. None of us like losing what we care about, but if you look deeply, you'll see loss is not a tragedy. It's simply the natural movement of life. The problem isn't that something is gone, it's that we weren't emotionally prepared to let it go. To contemplate impermanence means to remind yourself each day, everything can change. Not to make you hopeless, but to make you present, mindful, and grateful. Waking up healthy is a gift. Having loved ones near is a blessing. Having a job or purpose is something to give your full heart to. When you understand impermanence, you stop fearing loss because you've already accepted that loss is inevitable. And in letting go of resistance, you start living each moment fully. Number 3, practice gratitude and live fully in the present. One of the biggest reasons we fear loss is that we focus too much on the future and forget the present. We fear that someone might leave tomorrow, so we hesitate to love fully today. We fear failure, so we hold back from trying. We fear losing what we have, so we live in constant anxiety. But if you return to the present moment, you'll see the present is the only thing you truly own. Every mindful breath, every second of awareness is a treasure. Try writing one sentence every day. Today, I am grateful for. You'll be surprised to see the more you practice gratitude, the more at peace you become. Because gratitude shifts your focus to what you have instead of what you might lose. A story. 2 men lose their homes. 2 men lived in a riverside village. One day, a great flood swept through and destroyed both of their homes. The first man sat in despair, cursing the sky. "Why is life so unfair? Why did I lose everything? My life is over." The second man, though also heartbroken, quietly watched the river and said, "I'm grateful my family is safe. A house can be rebuilt, but my loved ones are irreplaceable. I still have so much to be thankful for." Now ask yourself, which man is more likely to recover and live meaningfully? Which one will move forward with strength? Fear of loss is cut in half when you realize nothing lasts forever. And it disappears completely when you learn to be grateful for every moment you have. You can't avoid loss, but you can change how you face it. And in that shift, you'll find the beginning of inner freedom. Summary and daily practice suggestions. In the end, remember this: the more you fear losing, the more you live in stress and anxiety. The more you try to hold on, the more things tend to slip away. So don't try to control everything. Instead, learn to let go, not of the beautiful things in life, but of the urge to possess them, the need to cling at all costs. Because true freedom isn't having everything. It's not being bound by anything, not even the things you love the most. Letting go is not indifference. It's living fully in each moment and being able to smile when everything changes tomorrow. Daily practices for inner freedom. 1. Write this question every morning. What am I afraid of losing today? This helps you recognize what you're still clinging to. 2. View everything in life as a guest passing through. Welcome people as they arrive, and when they leave, bow gently in peace. Everything in life is doing, a fleeting connection, here for a while, then gone like clouds passing the sky. 3. Practice the mindset, it's okay if I have it, and okay if I don't. This isn't resignation. It's the strength to stay grounded between gain and loss. So no matter what changes, your heart stays calm. When your mind is no longer led by fear, you'll notice. You live lighter, love deeper, and keep more in a more peaceful and lasting way. Final thoughts and call to action. When it comes down to it, nothing in this life truly belongs to us. No one is ever fully ours. Money, fame, love, they're all like clouds drifting across the sky. Beautiful, but impossible to hold forever. But there is one thing that's always yours: your attitude toward life, the mindset you choose every day. Will you live in fear, or will you live in peace? Will you grip tightly, or will you let go gently, with a calm and open heart? Life doesn't need you to control everything. It only asks you to be fully present with what you have right now. Letting go doesn't mean losing. It means your hands become lighter, your heart more open, and your soul more free. If you found value in today's video, please like the video to help spread these life-changing ideas. Subscribe to Trong Palm's channel to walk this path of discovering Eastern wisdom together. Comment, share your thoughts, or what resonated most with you in the comments below. And turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new video on the teachings of Confucius, Laozi, Zhuangzi, and other ancient sages. See you in the next video. May you find peace, always, in this ever-changing world.